All right, guys, let's dig into the first real deal. Listen, I think Jeb maybe made some new fans this afternoon, but Fran, I want to talk about your institute. You guys, you focus on developing entrepreneurs.
We work with entrepreneurs, 520,000 startups every month.
Every month?
Every month.
500,000 startups every month.
520,000 by the Kaufman Report in 2014. 70% of all entrepreneurs are sole proprietors. They have no help. The government doesn't help them. And what we've done with my college, the University of Georgia, we have built they've got a great business school, and we have built an MBA-type program for these entrepreneurs to make them smarter, to give them education, because the people that have the most education win in business, and they're underserved. And that where that is at tarkington.org, and you get that information.
Now, entrepreneurship is finally starting to turn around. That 520 number is a lot better than it was a year or so ago.
Yes.
When Jeb Bush spoke today about the economy, specific numbers, not necessarily how he's going to do it, although he did run down his track record as governor of Florida. Does that make you feel better in terms of where that might spark some entrepreneurship in this country? Because it feels like it's dormant, although I speak to a lot of young people who would love to do it.
It doesn't make me feel good, because I don't think Jeb Bush, this administration or the Republicans really understand where that entrepreneur is. It's 1 to 10 employees. That's where it is. That's the action. They're the underserved, underprivileged. They get no help from the government. And if you just crank up that, you will get job growth. He talked about 4% GDP. And if he would focus on that group of people in America, the people that are really providing the jobs, 65% of the jobs, then we could do something. But no administration has addressed that entrepreneur that I talked about.
Well, here's the thing, though, Joni. There is a sense that the same tide could lift all ships. I mean, these days, 4% sounds pretty good to an economy that was negative in the first quarter this year. We've had 3 contractions in this so-called recovery. So if someone could sustain 4% and create 19 million jobs, I think a lot of people would benefit from that.
I think the whole country would benefit. I mean, I think we'd even take 2% at the rate we're going right now if we've been at a negative GDP. But the one area that he does seem to focus and that he's talking about is he's also focused around creating more opportunities for the small business. So he's talking about these 19 million jobs, and he's discussing what he did when he was over Florida.
Right.
And he created a lot of jobs, and he also helped really build small business. So you can see he's coming right out of the gate with this is going to be his platform, which I think does sound great. 19 million jobs. We haven't seen anything like that. Yeah. We're still averaging 200,000 jobs a month.
Hey, Steve, we've got, of course, I would suspect probably in a couple more weeks we'll have even more candidates, but hopefully we'll start to get more details on these guys, guys and gals, on what they exactly expect to do, what they expect to deliver. What exactly are you looking for? Did Jeb hit any notes that rang out to you today?
He didn't for me, Charles. And listen, he's an honorable man from a terrific family, but a couple of things. One is his job creation record in Florida. Was it good? Yes. If you compare it to Governor Perry, who is my guy in Texas, we're talking the Washington Generals versus the Harlem Globetrotters.
Well, so, hold on, though. Someone would say, yeah, but your boy Perry had a lot of oil. I mean, take out the oil, and it might be evened up a little bit.
That's not true. No, it's not just oil, and we could get into the weeds on that, but Texas is leading the country in tech, in healthcare, in a lot of... So, listen, again, I'm not assailing... I think Governor Bush did a good job. Also, though, speaking of sports, this guy hasn't competed. He hasn't run for a race in 12 years, okay? This would be like asking Fran Tarkenton to come back right now and captain and quarterback the Minnesota Vikings, all right? There are plenty of guys who have been running lately and winning. Governor Perry's one of them. Bush, and last thing I would say about this is we are not a dynastic country. The idea that we would have again a Bush versus Clinton face-off of the White House, to me, is really just depressing.
Well, I've got news for you, though, Steve. Fran was at the Jets facility earlier today, okay? That's all I'm saying. I don't know what he was doing there, but he was there earlier today.
And I can play better than any quarterback they got.
I tell you what, I put my money on you, that's for sure. All right, Hillary, so far, the panel is still lukewarm on Jeb, who, by the way, is leading in the latest Fox poll. He's got 12% tied with Scott Walker. Ben Carson's making a strong push. He's presumably going to have the most money. They always say follow the money in politics. So despite the fact that Steve's not necessarily sold on him, what do you think?
I think that Jeb Bush is the most likely candidate, and he very well may end up in the White House. The question is these 19 million jobs. We're going to have interest rates rising. 19 million is very aggressive. It is the right platform to reach people, and his speech was inspiring. But at the same time, I think we have a problem with Jeb Bush, which he seems tired. He seems like it was it wasn't sincere. Marco Rubio, everyone said, oh, how fast can I vote? And how much money can I give you a check for? And so Jeb Bush has the money, Charles, but he doesn't have the passion.
I agree with you on the passion and the energy thing, although I think it would be wrong for a candidate to say, listen, I'm going to generate 4 million jobs because interest rates are going higher. You may not want to say that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not a political maven. I'm just saying you may not want to say that.
I don't think you can say 19 either. I'm a Bush fan right now. That's who I'm voting for as of right now in the race. I'm excited that he's in it. The problem is it's very early on. 19 million jobs, it's an arbitrary number. 4% arbitrary number. Tell me how you're going to create 19 million jobs. How we're going to have 4% GDP. There was not one detail there. I mean, and I don't expect him to put out details yet, but I'm not excited because he has not given me a plan to how we're going to achieve that.
All right, so Fran, what could he have said that could have made you a little bit more excited? I mean, what specifically could he have said other than, hey, I mean, low taxes, right? Yep. Maybe take the shackles off of banks. Don't punish banks because they make loans that go belly up and then blame them after you force them to make these loans. I mean, what are some of the other things that a president could do to get these entrepreneurs going? Because we know that small businesses are the engine of growth.
The devil's in the details. I'd like to have seen him talk about how he was going to do that. It was a political speech. It's easy to put out the numbers, but how are you going to get the numbers? And I think whichever candidate will concentrate on the entrepreneur that we've been talking about tonight, I think you would have job growth because no administration, Republican or Democrat, has paid any attention to the entrepreneur in this country.
That all comes down to the fact that they don't have the kind of money,
bingo,
right, to lobby these. I mean, it's really a shame. Every single month, and Joni, you know this better than anyone else, how many more jobs do small businesses, let's consider 500 or less, be small businesses? Aren't they creating like 70, 80% of the jobs?
Yeah, you know, you look at even the ADP report, right, which comes out every month, and they are creating about 80% of the jobs on a monthly basis. So you look at that private sector and you say, okay, small business is really driving it, which could be great. But big business, they have cut back so much and they found ways to be more efficient. We don't see them investing and making those hires. So that is a concern. We need someone to come in and say, here's how I'm going to create jobs in all sectors.
And I want to segue off of that because, you know what, you can run for the office with an optimistic view about the economy, or you can run for office and just put Wall Street in the crosshairs. And that's exactly what's happening on the other side of the aisle.